Oh, to be front row at a wrestling show and get screamed at by Tekla. There's no better way to spend a Saturday night. Shut up, I don't have issues. How dare you judge me? How dare you all judge me? Nevertheless, I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Collision from Houston. Why am I doing an AEW Collision review? Solo, instead of it being paired with Dynamite. I was bored. I decided to review this also. I wanted to see if they were going to throw any curveballs at us as they had the other advantage matches to build towards AEW Blood and Guts. I will be watching AEW Blood and Guts, Dynamite, whatever the fuck you want to call it, after I'm done with work that particular day. So, Saturday nights are alright for fighting, and they're alright for a show that honestly wasn't that bad, but really could have used another match or two, because there's no reason to have long competitive matches for, like, to fill up the first hour of the goddamn thing. I mean, you could have, whatever, it's alright. I think this could have used 8 matches and almost gone the Thunder route. You could have had a couple squashes. But that being said, FTR along with a child in a tracksuit. I'm sorry, that's Stokely. He's there, and they took on Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn. Colton Gunn apparently is really, really hurt. Jay White is hurt and will not be back till early 2026, which is just around the corner. But, man, remember FTR versus Gin and Juice, or Juice Robinson and Jay White on Collision? That was like one of the best goddamn matches I've seen in a good goddamn while. What a fucking crazy epic that was, like 58 minutes. Anyway, Juice growing his beard back is a good thing. There's not going to be a ton of analysis for these matches. I think that's how that phrase goes. But I'm going to talk about a few high points and low points and go over their low points. They did some good work here. Juice got a lot of chance. Big Bill and Brian Keith are watching backstage. At least they got away from Jericho. I'm just glad they're usually on a show I don't have to watch, because I don't watch that much Collision. I might watch a match here and there. I did see that Olympia woman, that Amazon, it looks like she could split the world in two, or a phone book, or me, but nevertheless, I did see that match, or I did see her wrestle, but I thought Cash really hurt himself tumbling outside. I thought Dax was okay, but it looked like Cash is really favoring his arm. Hopefully he's alright. And it went a little bit longer than it needed to. FTR ended up, FTR was like, closing in, but then we got Bandito and Gravity involved, and they chased Stokely and beat him up, and Jet Speed was also there. Why'd you need 4 people to stop a small child in a tracksuit? And a Flatliner DDT won it, so okay, FTR has a shot at Bandito at Full Gear in about 2 weeks, and they do this. I'm not complaining about giving Juice and Gunn a win, but seems like odd timing. Stokely was out on the stage, which honestly is the best use for him. Get a spatula, a child-sized spatula. So, Kyle was then talking about Mark Briscoe last Wednesday. They, recorded a bunch of stuff. And then Okada showed up. It's Okada's birthday. His bitch day, as it were. And Okada mentions that him and Kyle can be the co-captains of the Callis family. And they can be Proto-Okada. Bitch. So, Kyle Fletcher took on Ace Austin, the tag team partner of Chris Bay. I'm glad to see that Chris Bay is recovering. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to come back to wrestling. I just want him to have a great quality of life. Ace is with the gang folks that showed up, and basically Kyle and Ace had a TNT title match that probably went 5 minutes longer than it needed to. It wasn't a bad match. Ace can work. Kyle did some good arm focus early on. We got a nice Fosbury flop. And then we got an apron powerbomb and a sit-out powerbomb in the ring, which should have been the finish, but wasn't. A brainbuster after, basically after a long dart, hitting a kick, and then, or missing a kick, but then hitting the brainbuster out of the fold. I think that's Ace's finish. Got a 2 count. Why didn't you just do that? He could have eked out a win like, he went for his finish and that's it. No, they went with more stuff. And a brainbuster, they end up being on the ropes. And the brainbuster and the buckles are on the ropes. Just never looks that good. There's no margin for error. I'm not saying that these guys aren't professionals. They are, but it never looks good. But there we are. So Kyle retains the TNT title and goes on to face Mark Briscoe at Full Gear. Statlander then cuts a promo at the bottom of the stairs. Why was she there in all black and thigh-high stockings? I'm not complaining about that, but whatever. It was what it was. Statlander's at least more confident with pre-tape promos. And then we see more stuff taped from Dynamite. We see the Death Riders and Callis talking about beat up Mark Briscoe and Blood and Guts. And then Anna Jay and Ty Malokunte took on Maya World and Hyan. And that was quick. That was a quick match. Anna's improved. Ty will never get any better. She is what she is. And I believe Hyan got pinned. And then Lexi was talking to Athena. Athena wants Lexi to refer to her as a bunch of stuff because Athena is the forever Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Literally, she has been the champion forever. I think like almost 3 years now at this point. I think it's just past 1,000 days right now. So they probably are going to go for 3 years. And she's going to turn Harley into her own puppet. Gives finger puppet a whole new meaning. You're welcome. So, Jamie Hayter took on Sky Blue. This is the advantage match, and whichever person... Basically, Sky wins, her team gains the advantage in Blood and Guts. If Hayter wins, it goes to match 3. So, it was pretty much telegraphed it was going to go to match 3. This wasn't bad, and Sky does some good stuff, but Sky is very much just where she is. Never going to get, never going to drastically improve. She's never going to get worse. She has a good look, and she tries, and there's nothing wrong with that. Hayter did eventually win with the Haterade, and Sign Guy was there. That's nice to see that he's still around. And then Tekla, Julia Hart, along with Willow and Harley showed up, and we had a brief brawl with security, and Willow threw people around. Now, why can't that be me? Again, no issues here. Then we conveniently go right to Tekla and Harley Cameron. Match number 3 for the War, Blood, and Guts Games advantage. Oh, to be screamed at by Tekla. Who wouldn't want to be screamed at by a beauty like that? A scary beauty. A talented beauty, more importantly. Harley has improved, and that's good to see. Because I saw Harley at a couple of shows I went to. The Dynamite a couple weeks before Double or Nothing 2024, and I believe against Anna Jay on the pre-show for Wrestle Dream 2024 that I was also at, and she's improved. Good on her. I'm not saying she's a world beater, but good on her. At one point, they said Tekla, she's just trying to toy with Harley. Go on. Go on, please. And at one point, the spider, we got biting. Oh my God, she's biting the spider. Oh my God. Help me. So Harley missed a senton and then a spear 1, 2, 3. And Tekla, for whatever reason, looks like she wants to just, consume her prey after she pins them. I don't think that's how spiders work. Alright, so Jet Speed is backstage, and apparently even, Mike's Sideburn said, fuck you, Speedball. I kid, of course. They are going to be in the Casino Gauntlet AEW National Championship thing, because more belts are fucking needed. I mean, I get it, come on. Just come on. You don't need more belts, Tony. I don't care. This is going to be defended at more shows outside of AEW. Why have the fucking belt? Just send talents out there, like talents you just sit at home for a while. Lexi talks to Bones and Caster. Stop this. Please stop this. Tony Khan used his analytics to say every time you guys are together, the merch, the ratings, and other stuff go up. I don't think there's any way for the ratings for Collision to go up anymore because they pretty much torpedoed any reason to really care about this show. And that's sad, but honestly, Collision is what it is. It's not even a bad wrestling show. It's basically WCW Thunder. So the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster at Full Gear. Because they're going to be at Full Gear, or they won't be. I don't really care about this stuff. Full Gear and Blood and Guts rundown, and Steamboat and Ric Flair will be there. Just tell Ric Flair the Egyptian's there, and he'll start yelling. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you're confused. So, Roderick Strong versus Jon Moxley with Marina Shafir in the corner. Number 3 advantage match. And this was the main event. So, we get run-ins. Yuta is still allowed on this show for whatever reason. Even the ring post didn't want to sell that chair because the ring post is done with fucking Yuta. The ring post also is displaying much more personality than Yuta. Garcia went through a table. He's a fucking Nimrod. People were kicked out but then allowed to come back in because the referees just aren't allowed to do anything proper. And somebody suddenly stops Moxley from getting in. Oh my God, who could possibly be doing this? And Moxley loses via countout. Roddy won. Darby has the taser thing and is going to shock people. And a buddy of mine came up with the scenario that Roddy is going to turn on the faces and join the Death Riders because they won't allow this shit to end. And I could see it because his wife's there, and also they would just want to throw something in like that to extend this thing well past its sale date, which was a number of months ago. This thing should have ended a while ago. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's wrong. But he's got really good intuition about this. Because Roddy has a number advantage. Imagine Roddy getting in there and pulling a Kurt Hennig from Fall Brawl 97. Dear God, that's what they're going to do. He's going to have an injury, and he's going to show up in a sling, and then he's going to have a lead pipe or something, and they're going to be, oh God, they're going to, oh no, I made it worse. Oh, then I'll be out with something. The Death Riders do end up winning Blood and Guts, and they end up, it ends up even coming close to what was just suggested. I might actually turn beet red. I might turn as red as the color on that shirt back there. That's your Collision review, folks. That's probably the only Collision review you're going to get for at least the next 4 to 6 months. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rentlin. Until we fight on Saturday nights again, which won't be for a while, happy trails to you.